Okay then, it's time for some good old facial expressions. But before we go any further, you'll need to print out your construction image for this lecture to practice with. And if you're not familiar with the construction image and how it can make your life extremely amazing as a newbie artist, then I would recommend watching the construction image lecture. Okay, now to draw the very first head. So look for the guidelines that I have drawn on your construction image. Remember, guidelines are meant to be opaque and just visible to the eye, even if it is your rough drawing. And on these guidelines, I will draw on the features of the face in no particular order, but generally eyes first, then the rest. And remember to keep it light and rough. Okay, now it's face number dos. That's 2 if you're English. This expression is borderline evil, so a slight smirk with eyebrows angling inwards is all it takes to go from nice dad to evil dad. Once again, it's exactly the same approach as face number 1. That's uno if you're Spanish. And next I'm going to add the eyeballs in the same place as I did with the first example. So now you should be able to see a pattern starting to take place. And while you're here, you can now add the rest of the face. If we deconstruct this facial expression of an evil middle-aged fat man, what makes him decidedly evil are his eyebrows working in conjunction with his smirk. Small subtle changes can really make a huge difference in the personality of a character. So you will also notice I like to throw in floating objects on or around my characters, such as this groovy looking hat. This is just part of my quirky style, and over time you will develop your own. But first, let's just learn the basics of drawing first. Okay then, face number 3. This is the I just sat down on a prickly cactus look. Ouch. Here, he is trying to figure out whether to scream in agony or produce a delicate man tear. So get yourself a new construction image from the folder and follow my lead, newbie. Once again, we are starting with the eyes, which are 2 small circles. And if you are struggling with the correct size, also known as proportions, remember what I said about how many eyes can fit in the forehead area and the area between the ear and the eyeball. And if you're struggling with proportions, take a deep, long inhale. Count 5. And exhale. As I will be covering this drawing principle at a later date. Okay then, now moving on to face number 4. This is the I've just set up a prank and it's going off the hook look. Once again, throw in some eyeballs, but this time take a look at what I do with the bottom of his eyes. I call it the squint. Then add eyebrows and you have some really great expressions happening. And keep the smirk, but also feel free to mix and match with the other mouths you have drawn so far. Finish off with some shadow, which incidentally can also work as a stubble. Then finish off with the butt chin. Oh yeah. So now I'm going to rip out a quick sketch in real time using the shapes that I use to make this guy's head with. I tend to call this a rough drawing, and usually it's a series of rough lines to form the character with. I also like to use a blunt pencil with a flat edge in this form of drawing so I can have more line work to explore with. So keep your pencil flat and blunt anytime you're doing rough drawings. It will make sense over time. So on this sketch I'm basically freeballing it, letting loose, seeing where the pencil takes me. I've ended up with an angry, shouting geezer. I urge you to just freeball it for 5 or so minutes, go crazy and don't worry about mistakes. Cool, now that's facial expressions locked and loaded, just repeat and rinse. Post your drawings, questions and comments and feedback on my Facebook group. Catch you in the next lecture. This is Rob signing off.